Welcome guys to another edition of Math is My Jam. Math is My Jam, and today's video is about equivalent fractions. We're going to learn how to create equivalent fractions. So without any further ado, let's just go ahead and jam into it. Today we have 3/4 plus 2/5. As you know from our previous video, we have to find our least common denominator, and then we can go ahead and turn these into equivalent fractions before we can actually add them. So go ahead at home, find your least common denominator. In this case, our least common denominator is 20. And so you're going to set it up like I have here behind me. You're going to say 3/4 times some fraction equals some fraction with a denominator of 20. And so you ask yourself, 4 times what is going to give you 20? Obviously, 4 times 5 is going to give you 20. And if you multiply the bottom by 5, you have to multiply the top by 5 as well. And so your new equivalent fraction for 3/4 is 15/20. And on this side, guys, you're going to do the exact same thing. You're going to say 2/5 times some fraction equals some fraction with a denominator of 20. You guessed it. And so 5 times what equals 20? Well, we know that 5 times 4 equals 20. So we're going to multiply the denominator by 4. If we multiply the bottom by 4, we also have to multiply the top by 4. So our new equivalent fraction for 2/5 equals 8/20. So now we have 15/20 plus 8/20. And all we have to do from there is add the numerators. We're going to do 15 plus 8, which is 23. And we're going to put 23 over 20. Okay guys, so here's another fraction behind me, and I want you to go ahead and pause the video and do it on your own, and let's see if we get the same answer. Okay guys, so as you can see behind me, I have 5/7 times some fraction equals some fraction with a denominator of 28. Now because I already knew that my common denominator was 28 by listing my multiples, I can go ahead and multiply it out to figure out what my new equivalent fraction is going to be. 7 times something equals 28. 7 times 4 equals 28. And so I go ahead, whatever I multiply the bottom number by, I have to also multiply my top number, which is my numerator, by the same number. So my new equivalent fraction here is 20/28. On the other side of things, I have 3/4 times some fraction equals some fraction over 28. Well, I know that 4 times 7 equals 28, so I can put that there. Now, because I did 4 times 7 on the bottom, whatever I do to the bottom, I also have to do to the top. So then 3 times 7 equals 21. Therefore, my two new fractions are 20/28 and 21/28. Now I can add my numerators and I'll have my answer. Okay, let's do one more problem together. Pause the video, do it on your own, and let's see if you came up with the right answer. Okay, now, as we learned in our last video, you have to find your least common denominator. You have to find your least common denominator. And so, my least common denominator was 18. Okay, and some people make the mistake of multiplying the two denominators and they would get 54 as their denominator, which is a common denominator, but it is not your least common denominator. You want to find your least common denominator. Now I have 3/6 times some fraction equals some fraction with a denominator of 18. And so here, 6 times 3 equals 18, so I'm going to multiply the top and the bottom by 3. 6 times 3 equals 18. 3 times 3 equals 9. 9/18 becomes my equivalent fraction here. So let's do the other side now. I have 2 9ths times some fraction equals some fraction with the denominator of 18. 9 times 2 is 18. Therefore, I'm going to multiply the top and the bottom by 2. 9 times 2 equals 18. 2 times 2 equals 4. 4/18 becomes my new equivalent fraction. Now that you have 9/18 and 4/18, all you have to do is combine the numerators the denominator will always stay the same. Now all you're going to do is add the numerators and you have your answer. Alright guys, so I'll see you next time on the next video. Make sure you guys took some really good notes and you play this video again just so you can make sure that you have mastered the content. See you next time. Math is my jam.